What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be telling you the 5 things that I believe are destroying Las Vegas. All right, so like I said, I'm going to go over the 5 things I believe are destroying Las Vegas. Now, this is going to be from a local standpoint, so for somebody who's living here and seeing some changes, and I've only been here for a year, but I have noticed some changes that I think are affecting the quality of life here overall. And I'm also going to be going into how it is affecting from a tourism standpoint as well, because I think there's a lot to be said as far as the tourism goes and ultimately where it can be heading if this continues. So before we get into it, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe down below, turn on the little notification bell, that way you never miss out on a new video. And if you're back from another video, welcome back. Make sure you give a thumbs up on this video. It does help to support the channel, guys, so please make sure that you're giving a thumbs up on the video. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna start off with, guys, is the cost of living, and we're just gonna be doing this from my perspective. I know some of you may own a home, some of you may have a bigger family, some of you may have kids. I don't know what it is for you. Everybody's situation is unique. Everybody's situation is different. This is gonna be going into my situation, what I've noticed over the last year, and that is that the cost of rent has gone up significantly. It's gone up anywhere from a 10 to 20% price range from what I've noticed, especially for those that are just now moving here, and even those that are like living here and then now their lease is coming up for renewal. From what I've noticed, when I lived in Florida, like they can only increase your rent 5% or something every year. My rent barely ever went up when I lived in Florida. Here, my rent went up over 10% this last year when I went to renew. If you're looking for a 1-bedroom apartment, you're gonna expect to pay anything in the $1,000 to $1,100 range if you wanna live in a good area. And so what I consider to be a good area would simply be just somewhere that has the least amount of crime as possible and that has everything that I need in that area. And that just so happens to be where I live here in Henderson. So ultimately, you can find cheaper, you can find more expensive. You can definitely still find some for $750, $800 if you go towards downtown, etc. But overall, the cost of living has gone way up. I even noticed downtown there's a newer building that is a high-rise with apartments there, and they're built with the hotel style entrances, and their studios start at $1,400, which is insane because I was paying $1,690 in Los Angeles. But the thing about Los Angeles is that there's more opportunity and there's a lot more money to be made in Los Angeles compared to here in Las Vegas. So we'll get into that into another point that I'm actually going to touch on that. But overall, the quality of life has gone down a little bit because of the rising rents. And this is not something that just I've felt myself. This is something I've seen neighbors being evicted. I've seen more people moving out. I've seen more U-Hauls around here. And it's just getting to be unaffordable for the reason that we're going to get into right now. The second thing that is destroying Las Vegas is the stagnant wages. So here in Las Vegas, the minimum wage starts at $7.25 an hour. It goes up to $8.25 an hour, depending on whether you get benefits or not. And that's nothing that anybody can live off of. Now, if you're getting a 2-bedroom and you're working overtime, maybe you have a second job and you have a roommate, like you can make it work, but it's definitely not ideal. Now, minimum wage jobs are not ever meant to support somebody to be living independently, supporting a family, living on their own, having a car. They're not meant for that. But just the fact that minimum wage is that low is a problem. The other issue that we're having is a lot of the casinos are moving towards a lot of automation. So some of the cocktail servers are being replaced. They're being downsized. They're being cut out. They're not giving away free drinks like they used to be. This is gonna be another topic that we're gonna touch on as well. But they used to have more cocktail waitresses walking around, giving you drinks, handing you stuff if you were playing. Now I've seen a lot of the casinos are turning to where, depending on how long you've been playing, how much money you've put in the machine, all that good stuff, it will determine for you if you are eligible for a free drink. You'll press a button on the screen and your server will come bring it to you. So it's not like they are just walking around roaming freely like they used to be. So that is a problem. There's a loss of jobs going on. MGM is set to cut a huge amount of jobs due to automation, and that's supposed to take place, I believe, by 2020. Now, I walked to the Strip a couple weeks ago. I did a live stream on that. If you want to check that out, I'll put that card up here. But what I noticed there is when I would go into a lot of the casinos, specifically Caesar's Palace is where I noticed it the most, that there is a lot of automated check-ins. So instead of actually going to the front desk, checking in, talking with the employee, maybe getting an upgrade, maybe getting on their good side, getting something sent to your room, whatever it may be, you're now going to this kiosk that is determining, okay, they booked a standard room, they're gonna get a standard room. And while it may be quicker, I think it's also losing that personal touch. I mean, whenever you're staying in hospitality, you expect to be taken care of, you expect to be treated as a guest. And there are some people that like the automation. They don't want to deal with the check-in, they don't want to deal with the lines, they don't want to deal with the people, and they'd rather just do it at a machine. And that's okay for some people, but I don't think, there was a lot of machines out there. There was over 10 machines out in the lobby. So to me, that automatically replaces 10 workers. So that's a problem. So with stagnant wages, we're also getting a lot of job cuts here. Now, our industry is dependent upon tourism for the most part. We have other industries here. We have the Raiders coming. You know, we still do thrive off of hospitality. There's normal jobs here, just like every other city, but the casinos are a large portion of the economy. And if they start cutting thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs, that's gonna be a big problem going forward. So that would be thing number 2 that is destroying Las Vegas, is just the stagnant wages and the loss of jobs. Number 3 thing that is destroying Las Vegas, and if you live here locally, you will definitely agree with me, I'm sure, is the growing population. There is more and more people moving here each and every day. And I think a lot of people move here for the wrong reasons. Some people move here for a change. Some people move here because they don't have another choice, whatever it may be. Some people just move here because they think it's their next best shot at having a good life. Ultimately, I think Las Vegas is getting a huge influx of, obviously, people from California moving away from high taxes, poor policies, homelessness, cost of living, all of that, all of the problems that come with living in California. People are moving here to get away from that. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of people that are still bringing their politics with them. They're still bringing their ideologies, their thinking, and they're starting to spread this into other cities, unfortunately. And there's just a lot of people who are just so blind to this, they don't even see what they're doing. With this comes higher traffic. With this comes higher rents. With this comes just more people all over the place. And this can be a problem. You know, there's a lot of people who love living here. They've lived here. It's kind of been like a secret gem for them, especially here in Henderson. And they're starting to see more and more people kind of take that over. Now, the thing, I know some of you are going to say in the comments that I, push people to move here. I encourage people. I don't push anybody to move here. I give tips and suggestions about good areas to live, areas to not live. These are people who are already researching living here, but by no means am I a channel that is very bullish on telling people that come live in Las Vegas, it's paradise, everything's great. No, I've done plenty of videos about reasons not to move here, things that are wrong with living here. So I understand that there is some people that are still going to get mad about these type of videos, but at the end of the day, the growing population is becoming a big problem. There's a lot of new apartments going up. There's a lot more construction going up. But with all that, I mentioned this in a previous video, is lack of water. Nobody talks about this. For some reason, nobody talks about the lack of water. We have Lake Mead, which has been continually dropping for years and years and years, and they supply the water to all of Las Vegas. So the thing is, when the water level drops to an emergency level, California has control over the majority of that water. Arizona, I believe, and Nevada have to cut usage of water. So in an emergency situation, we're the ones that we're gonna have to cut water, not California, because they have so much of the farming industry that they need to water and provide for. So ultimately, the growing population is not only a concern because of higher rents, and it's gonna make jobs more competitive as well. I didn't even think about that before, but now you have more and more people fighting over the same job with limited jobs, and with jobs disappearing from the casinos, that's gonna be a problem. And then you also have the lack of water, which, to be quite honest with you, they've talked about building a pipeline from the Pacific Ocean to Lake Mead to refill it, to desalt it, whatever. But that is a lot of mileage. That's gonna take a long time to build. And if people keep moving and moving and moving into this city, I don't know where all the water is going to come from. I do believe that there will be a economic recession, an economic crash of some sort here in the next 12 months. So with that, we may lose a large portion of people as well. I'm not sure where that's going to take us, but definitely the growing population is a major concern. Reason number 4 that is destroying Las Vegas is just the cost of fuel. So again, this is going to be a very quick topic here, but when you have a increased cost of living, you also have stagnant wages, you have less jobs, and now you have fuel that is costing you almost $4 a gallon. That's a recipe for disaster, because now people can't even afford to put gas in their car to get to work. So now you have people charging up credit cards just to survive. So the cost of fuel is literally like the icing on the cake when it comes to the overall cost of living and just how expensive it can be to live here in Las Vegas. Now, I don't know how long this has always been this way. We are in the middle of a desert. So it's not surprising to me that the gas is higher, but I was in Florida last week and gas over there was only $2.49, $2.59. Over here, you're paying $3.59, $3.69, and that's only going to continue to increase. California is way over $4 a gallon now with all their taxes, and with, like I said, more people coming here from California, people voting for this stuff, you know, not realizing the consequences of it. Ultimately, this could end up being, like I said, the icing on the cake to just making the cost of living just that much more out of reach. And reason number 5, guys, would be the corporate greed. This city was built obviously by the mob. If you're not too familiar with the history of Las Vegas, I would suggest looking up a couple videos and just taking you through how this city got built and all of the different just ins and outs of how everything here works. But nowadays, all of the major casinos are owned by big corporations. Caesars and MGM's, they own majority of the casinos on the Strip. And the problem with that is it then becomes a monopoly. It then becomes, we don't have a lot of competition, so we can do whatever we want. This is where resort fees started coming from. This is where parking fees started coming from. This is where changing blackjack from 3 to 2 to 6 to 5 comes from. This is where making the odds to win a lot less comes from, because where else are you gonna go? If we own everything here, sure, you can go down the street, but we also own that too. So no matter where you go, you're giving us your money. And ultimately, this is becoming a large problem. There's people who are just choosing not to come here anymore because of all of these nickel and dime fees, and they're just coming here and they're not winning anything. And honestly, casinos are here for a reason. How do you think they got these big buildings? Because they take a lot of people's money. So I don't think anybody should come to Las Vegas and expect to win. I think that you should have some money to have fun with, to have some entertainment with. And if you win something, great. If not, that was your budget for entertainment. But more and more people are just getting tired of putting a $20 in a slot machine and it being gone in 30, 40 seconds. People want to sit there and they want to be entertained. They want to play for a little while. So that's a big problem. The job cuts are becoming a problem because you're losing that personal touch. And just overall, there's even like room service now that they're sending robots up with your food to deliver it to you. So you're not even getting a real person delivering your food anymore. So there's a lot of things that are just kind of going completely into this whole corporate greed thing, and it is spreading more and more. Now, if you're looking to come here to Las Vegas and you want more of a off the strip experience, you want to have some more fun with your money, you want to make it go a little bit further, you want to have that old Vegas feel and not be so surrounded by the corporate stuff, I would recommend going to downtown, or you can go over to Henderson, you can go over to Red Rock area. You know, Red Rock and Henderson, we have the casinos as well that are run by Sunset Station, Sunset Casinos. All those, they're all owned by the same company, but they're a little bit different because they're off the strip. You know, nevertheless, their goal is still the same, to take your money while you're gambling. But those are just my reasons that I believe are destroying Las Vegas. And that was from, again, my standpoint living here, and then my standpoint from people who may be visiting here, and just some of the things that are turning people away, not only from discouraging them to move elsewhere, but discouraging them to even come here and spend money and stimulate our economy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you drop a comment down below. What things do you think are destroying Las Vegas in your opinion? And let's start a conversation down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.